Right, just a couple of tips for foam cutting. Obviously a lot of people layer foam, so one piece behind another piece, and then you have another piece. Excuse me, croaky throat, got a frog in my throat. Lays on top to give you some sort of depth in here. But the problem you get then is at the back you end up with like a 3-inch thick bloody suit. So what I've done, got me pen. If you've got a steady hand, if you put your finger just on the edge of the foam, put your pen there, just run the pen down, just marking out roughly halfway down the foam. Try and do it so your camera can see. Across there. Oh, look, nice shot. It's really hard to do this backwards. But using your finger as a guide should give you a nice straight line right the way down the centre of the foam. Now what I've done is I've marked the back of the foam with another line. You just see the shadow there. Let me just cut this line out. First of all, let's cut this one. So now I'm going to cut down that line I've made, using the same principle again, keeping my finger tight against the foam just to act as a guide to keep the knife running nice and straight. I'm using the blade as a depth gauge. It's a snap off blade. I know I need to go roughly 2 snap offs deep, so you've got 1, 2. So if I cut through this foam until I hit the second snap off blade without cutting your hand off. Obviously if you need adult supervision, then I'll ask myself what you're making. These are the tricky bits right there in them corners. Right, so let me just go over this bit. Again, if you can see, what I'm doing is I'm getting my little finger, just resting on the outside of the foam there, pushing all them fingers together and using that as a guide for my blade. So as I run my hand down, I'm following that edge of the foam. Give me a nice straight line all the way down the foam. You can use a ruler, but sometimes it's awkward. Especially, that's why you can't really put a ruler on there, because if you're trying to hold it and use a ruler, it's like Mission Impossible. So now I'm just going to slowly twitch away at this until I'm able to remove this section. It's a bit of a fiddling, but bear with me. I know we all watch these videos and think, yeah, come on mate, bloody hurry up, get on with it. I ain't got all day to sit and watch it. I'm just going to prise that out. Doesn't matter if you go too deep, because you won't be cutting any further off. So let's just get in there. These corners are pigs. Now just peel that bit out. What you should end up with is a little recess, little stepped edge all the way down. Same on both sides. And then what you can do is when you drop this bit in, this works in 2 ways. One, you've decreased the thickness of your foam, which is bloody handy. Now when I do the same again to the next piece, I'm obviously going to cut the bottom of it out, so the outside edge and not the top edge. Probably find out cutting both edges if there's another bit going in. So when the third bit, where's my third bit? Someone's stolen it, quick. When your third bit goes in, there's not going to be much of this one left. Probably going to cut it near enough all in half. Right, what we're going to do, just go over that. A good old heat gun. Just seals all them edges, gets all them fluffy crappy bits off. Right, this is for an abdominal plate. So I'll give you another tip here. Obviously that's going to go in an ab there and work its way up in stages. So overlapping. Now that I've cut them areas out, I can probably just glue that in place and then work on the next one. And I've got a really little step there, so it'll be nice and tidy when it comes to wearing the suit. But what I can do is if I fix elastic from there to there and do that all the way up the suit, that will allow for travel inside the suit. So I've made this gap a little bit bigger than it should be, so that can sit in like that. And if I elasticate from there to there and there to there, and the same here, so the elastic now holds that in place. When I bend down, it'll shrink, and when I stand up, it'll pull apart. But it'll only pull apart as far as the elastic will allow it to. So if you put it together with elastic at full stretch, so glue the bottom as soon as it's gone off, stretch the elastic bit, glue it there, the elastic will pull it down into place like that and hold it really tight. And then when you want to lean back, it'll stretch open. Or you can do the elastic just in its natural state, and then when you move forwards it will squish down, and when you lean back it'll open up. So that'll give you abdominal movement in the chest, so you can bend down. This is for a female Iron Man, Iron Woman should we say. Second top tip, apart from moving abdominal plates, is what we got. Alright, what I've got here is, this is going to be a breastplate. I've only got the right one at the moment, and two right ones. Where's the other one? Oh, it's in my hand. Right, top tip. Once you've got your foam, and cut out roughly what you want, your foam's this kind of grey colour. Now if you see this one, see it's a different colour and it's nice and shiny. If you run your heat gun over the top, over your top of your foam, what that'll do is all them little air bubbles on the top, they'll pop and it'll make this side a lot smoother. It also just put a little rounded edge on here, slightest bevel on the edges. If you want to sand any unsightly cuts where you couldn't get through it in one go, if you run a heat gun over that edge, ow, fingers, run your heat gun over the edge and that'll just melt it slightly and make it a bit more stiff. So when you come to sanding it, you can run a bit of sandpaper clean over there, and it just makes life a lot easier. It doesn't turn all fluffy and just make a right old mess and you end up chasing yourself trying to get rid of the fluff. Right, second top tip, I'm just gonna, right, what I've done, I'll show you here, what I've done is I've put a little design in the top of this one. So we've got like a little area where you could have lights or a circuit box or some crap, and then I've put some guidelines in here. So on the original one, this one, it's got a fine cut out that goes all the way around the edge. So when it comes to painting, I can paint all this one colour and then paint this edge here a complete separate colour, which will blend in with that guideline. Now if you want guidelines like this on your suit, fine details, and you don't know how to do fine details, if you get your knife and a ruler, score your desired line. So I go with 3 decreasing lines. Oh, I've got a tickle in my throat again. So we've got 3 little lines there, which aren't really, they're not going to show up very well unless the light hits them. Yet again, old trusty, third one I've blown up. This one's my 4th one. give that a heat up. Once you heated it up, what it does, it will shrink the edges along the line, thus making that line more prominent. It's quite hard to see in the camera, but once you do it yourself at home, you'll see that line opens right up. So you can use that for fine detail work. Now if you're going to use it in a curved area, you see how it opens up, that little tiddly line. So once, if you put that into a curve somewhere, I don't know, what, a Kylo Ren helmet maybe, that'll come in quite handy for you. Someone saw one of these on a photograph I posted not so long ago and was like, oh man, that's how you do vents in foam. So what we've got here is an ab plate that goes there somewhere, and this has got some little air vents in it, like louvres, like you get on a Ferrari or something. It's a cool little vents. All I've done is I've marked out with a pen roughly the design I want. I've cut 2 lines, I've left a tiddly little gap, another 2 lines, left a gap, and then cut across there. Sorry about dirty hands, I'm covered in felt tip pen. And then what I've done is I've pushed them, as you can see, through the foam, out the back of the foam. I've hot glued it down. Don't worry about how messy it's going to be, because no one's going to see it. You can go over the top of this with a Dremel later on. I can't do that in the office because it's going to make a right old cacking mess. Once you hot glued one down, trim the top off. If you do them in stages, one at a time, you can push these ones back and then you can glue across that edge. So you can glue this one first and then push the second one out, glue it, glue down that edge, push the third one out, glue it and glue down that edge, and then all the way round. Once it's glued, that's nice and tight. Heat it up with your heat gun, get the sort of shape you're after, shape that fits your ribs. There you go, 3 nice little louvres. Perfect. Well, if you call them perfect. Right, I'm going to crack on with my rib cage, cutting out these weird little sinkholes. I don't know what you call them. No, I don't know what you call them. I don't know. If you've got a name for them, so you get left over a bit like that as well. You can use that somewhere. I don't know, you can gag your wife, or, oh look, wacky racers. Anyway, have fun peeps.